The paradox of change. It is both the most inevitable and the most unsettling aspect of life. We see it everywhere. Seasons shift, rivers carve new paths, mountains rise and erode, and even within ourselves, the ebb and flow of thoughts, emotions, and experiences are constant reminders of life's transience. And yet, so often we cling to what is familiar, as if by doing so, we can halt the spinning wheel of time. Life is a constant unfolding, a never-ending process of becoming. Everything around us, from the smallest grain of sand to the vast galaxies above, is in a state of flux. To grasp this is to understand the essence of existence itself, change. It is not merely an event that happens to us, it is the very fabric of life, woven into every moment, every breath, every step we take. Think of nature as a perfect example. Rivers flow and carve valleys. They do not resist the rocks in their path, but adapt, finding new ways to move forward. Trees shed their leaves in autumn, not as a sign of loss, but as preparation for the renewal of spring. The sun rises, sets, and rises again, each day marking the passage of time and the inevitability of cycles. Change is not an interruption to the natural order, it is the natural order. When we resist change, we place ourselves in opposition to life's flow. We imagine that we can hold on to things, freeze them in time, and keep them exactly as they are. But this clinging is an illusion. Even in moments of apparent stillness, there is movement. The cells in your body are regenerating, your thoughts are shifting, the world outside is evolving. To resist change is like trying to hold back the ocean's tide. It cannot be done, and in the struggle we exhaust ourselves. Yet, within this relentless motion lies something profound. The beauty of life is not found in its permanence, but in its fleeting, ever-changing nature. A sunset is breathtaking precisely because it doesn't last forever. A child's laughter is precious because it is spontaneous and ephemeral. Even our own lives, finite as they are, become meaningful because they are a brief, shimmering spark in the infinite flow of time. To truly live is to embrace this. It is to understand that change is not an enemy but a guide. It pushes us forward, even when we feel unprepared. It strips away what no longer serves us and opens the door to new possibilities. The pain of change often comes not from the change itself, but from our refusal to let go. Like a caterpillar resisting its transformation into a butterfly, we fear the unknown, forgetting that growth and renewal require letting go of what was. Once we see change as the heartbeat of life, we begin to live differently. We stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start flowing with it instead. We realize that every change, no matter how challenging, is an invitation to evolve. It is a reminder that we are not static beings trapped in time, but dynamic participants in an ever-unfolding universe. So let us not fight against the currents of life, but sail with them. Let us find joy in the transience of things and gratitude for the lessons that change brings. For in the end, to live fully is to embrace change as the essence of existence, the very pulse of life itself. Impermanence is the foundation of all that we experience. Everything, from the vastness of the cosmos to the tiniest flicker of a candle's flame, exists only for a time before it transforms into something else. And while this truth is often unsettling, it also holds the key to a deeper understanding of life. To embrace impermanence is to unlock a profound wisdom that shapes how we see ourselves, our relationships, and the world. We often resist impermanence because we are drawn to the illusion of stability. We cling to things, our possessions, relationships, identities, believing they will remain as they are forever. But in our hearts, we know that nothing is fixed. The house we live in will someday crumble. The people we love will age and pass away. Even the sun, that constant giver of life, will one day exhaust its fuel. To fight impermanence is to set ourselves up for inevitable heartache, because what we are really doing is denying the nature of reality itself. Yet, impermanence is not something to fear. In fact, it is what makes life so extraordinary. The fleeting nature of things gives them their beauty and significance. Imagine if nothing ever changed. A flower that never wilted would become mundane, its bloom losing its vibrancy. A song that played endlessly would cease to move us. It is the impermanence of these experiences that gives them their poignancy and invites us to savor them fully. By accepting impermanence, we begin to see life as it truly is, a series of moments, each unique and irreplaceable. This understanding teaches us to live with presence and gratitude. Instead of longing for a future that may never come or lamenting a past that is gone, we learn to appreciate what is here, now. The laughter of a friend, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the stillness of a quiet evening, all of these are fleeting, but that is what makes them precious. Moreover, impermanence is the engine of growth and transformation. Without it, there would be no progress, no evolution, no opportunity to become more than we are. Consider how a seed must cease to exist as a seed in order to become a tree. In the same way, we too must let go of old versions of ourselves to make room for new growth. Embracing impermanence allows us to release what no longer serves us and welcome the possibilities that lie ahead. At its core, impermanence teaches us about the interconnectedness of all things. Everything arises, changes, and fades only to give rise to something new. This cycle is not a series of losses, but a continuous flow of transformation. When we see this, we begin to let go of our attachment to permanence and instead find peace in the unfolding dance of existence. So, let us not fear impermanence but celebrate it. Let us cherish each moment as it comes and accept its passing when it goes. For in doing so, we come to understand the deepest truth of life, that its beauty lies not in what lasts forever, but in the richness of its ever-changing nature. Resistance to change is a deeply ingrained human response. We yearn for stability, security, and the comfort of the familiar, so when life shifts and alters our plans, our instinct is to push back. But resisting change is as futile as trying to hold back the tide with your hands. The ocean will rise and fall regardless of your efforts, and the energy spent fighting it only leaves you exhausted and defeated. True freedom lies not in resisting life's natural flow, but in learning to move with it. Think about water. It does not resist the shape of the rocks it encounters. Instead, it flows around them, carving its own path over time. This adaptability is its strength. By yielding, water achieves what rigid resistance never could. It creates rivers, valleys, and even wears down the hardest stones. In much the same way, life calls on us to be like water, to meet change not with opposition but with curiosity and grace. When we resist change, we cling to an illusion of control. We tell ourselves that if we hold on tightly enough, whether to a job, a relationship, or even an idea of who we are, we can stop the inevitable. But life is not static, and neither are we. Trying to freeze life in place only creates suffering, for it pits us against the very nature of existence. Change is not something that happens to us, it is something we are constantly part of. To resist it is to resist our own growth and evolution. Now, this does not mean that change is always easy. It often arrives uninvited, disrupting our plans and challenging our comfort. The end of a chapter, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a stage of life, can feel like a loss. But what if we reframed our perspective? What if we saw change not as an enemy, but as a teacher? Every shift in life, no matter how difficult, carries with it an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become more aligned with our true selves. Consider the seasons. Winter may seem harsh and unyielding, but without it, the soil would not rest, and spring would not bring new life. In the same way, the challenges brought by change often prepare us for something better, even if we can't see it in the moment. Resisting the winter of our lives only delays the arrival of spring. When we learn to flow with change, we discover resilience. We stop wasting energy on battles we cannot win, and instead channel that energy into adapting and thriving. Flowing with change doesn't mean we give up control entirely, it means we learn to navigate life with flexibility. We become like a sailor who adjusts their sails to harness the wind, rather than fighting against it. In the end, resisting change is fighting life itself. To live fully is to embrace the tide, trusting that every wave carries us forward, even when the destination is unclear. By flowing with change, we align ourselves with the rhythm of the universe and find peace in its ever-changing dance. To live in harmony with life is to understand that change is not a disruption, but an essential part of the eternal dance of being. Everything we experience, joy and sorrow, gain and loss, birth and death, is part of a grand, interconnected rhythm. To resist change is to step out of sync with this flow, while to embrace it is to find balance, peace, and a deeper connection to the essence of existence. Imagine life as a symphony. Each moment, each event is a note in the composition. Some notes are soft and soothing, while others are sharp and jarring. But together, they create a melody far greater than any single note could achieve. Change is what gives this melody its dynamism and beauty. Without it, life would become stagnant, a monotonous hum, rather than the rich, ever-evolving harmony that it is. True harmony comes from recognizing that change is not something external to life, but an intrinsic part of it. It is the pulse that keeps existence alive. Rivers flow, seasons turn, and stars are born and die in cycles that repeat endlessly, each change feeding into the next. We are not separate from this process. We, too, are part of the dance our bodies, minds, and experiences constantly shifting in tune with the universe around us. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is the belief that we are separate from this rhythm. We imagine ourselves as static beings, clinging to the notion of permanence in an impermanent world. We try to hold on to what we love, avoid what we fear, and control outcomes as if life were a fixed path we could map out. But life doesn't work that way. It is not a straight line, but a flowing river, ever-changing and unpredictable. To find harmony, we must let go of our resistance and allow ourselves to be carried by the current. Embracing change also means embracing uncertainty. This can be challenging because we often seek security and predictability. But when we view change as part of a larger dance, uncertainty transforms from a source of fear into a realm of possibility. Every change, no matter how unexpected, carries within it the seeds of growth and renewal. Even in moments of difficulty, there is an underlying order, a rhythm that guides the unfolding of life. Consider the cycles of nature. The falling of leaves in autumn might seem like an ending, but it is also a beginning, as the soil is nourished for new growth. Similarly, the transitions in our lives, whether they involve letting go of a relationship, starting a new job, or confronting loss, are not disruptions but steps in the dance. When we see this, we can face change with trust rather than fear, knowing that it is all part of the symphony of existence. True harmony lies in surrendering to this eternal rhythm. It is not about controlling the dance, but about moving with it, finding joy in its unpredictable turns and grace in its fleeting moments. When we align ourselves with this flow, we discover a profound sense of peace, for we are no longer struggling against life. Instead, we are part of the dance, moving effortlessly to its timeless, ever-changing beat.